Hi there, this is video 526, and today we are going to look at how to use a Z-score table, which looks like this and is kind of scary, to convert our Z-scores into percents. Now, when we started this, I'm going to get rid of this because it's kind of scary looking. When we started, and let's say we had a lovely little, we drew the curve, and we divided it up. And 0.15%, 2.35, 34%, 34%, 13.5, remember the symmetry, 2.35, and 0.15%. Those are all percents. So if I said, hey, how much is in the curve from, let's say, here? I said, how much is in the curve under that point? Whatever, doesn't matter what the value is. You'd say, well, Joanne, that's super easy. All we need to do is add this one, and this one. And we would get an answer of about 16%. Cool. Well, what if instead of my line being on one of those nice standard deviation lines, what if, hold on, I want to get a different color pen. What if my line is somewhere over here? And I want to know how much data is below this point. Well, I can add up this one. I know it's all of this one. My purple. Welcome to working over summer holidays. It's all of this one. So 0.15 plus is all of this one. 2.35 plus all of this and all of this and all of this. 13.5 plus 34 plus 34. But then there's that chunk right there. This little spot in here. If we get to this part, this much, this part is 84 plus something. I don't know. I know it's less than 13.5, but I really don't know how much it is. It could be 10, it could be 7, I don't know. I'm not great at estimating it. And to make it worse, if you always look at the curves, right, this isn't square, so it's not like you can just divide it out evenly. So we have to figure out a plan B. So the first thing we would do, anytime the number you're dealing with does not land on one of these standard deviation things, you would calculate out your handy dandy Z-score. But the Z-score is going to tell you it's like one standard deviation and a little bit above the mean. Still not giving you percents. And that's where the table comes in. So for example, we are going to use a table to calculate the amount of data below 1.5 standard deviations. Now, kind of regret that I set it up this way, because really today, or in this video rather, we're just going to look at how to look up Z-scores. The questions that come after us, we will involve doing the sketching and stuff. So before we start, so I don't have to keep flipping back, you round your Z-score to 2 decimal places, which if you look down here, they all, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this sounds goofy. Always make 2 decimal places. Okay, so if your answer on your calculator only comes up as 1 decimal place, you can add zeros. This is important because it makes the table work. All right, make sure you're looking on the correct side of your table. One side's for pluses. Your answers need to be converted to percent. And you always get an answer below. Okay, gonna make it simple. Here's my Z-score table. Okay, and it reminds us, and this is probably the most important part of these instructions, is that whatever data you're pulling out of this table, it's always giving you a value less than that. You're always getting the graph to the left of the line So if you have something that says over that amount, we're going to have to do some subtracting. Not a big deal. Not going to worry about it today. But if you look on this side, here's my z-scores. Okay. And this one is all negative. This is the side we want because we're going to look at 1.56. This is the positive side. There is this table on the back, in the back of your textbook. Probably I'll have it photocopied for you. So we were looking at 1.56. Okay, there's my handy dandy little scrap paper to remind what we're doing. So what you do is you divide right there. So the whole number and the first decimal place, and then you've got the second decimal place. So the first two parts we look up going down this column. So there's the 1.5. And then we read across the top to find the 6. So we go down here and across. This works if you have a ruler. Actually, the truth is usually I just have this on some loose, on a photocopy paper, and then I just use my pen. So there's 1.5, and there's the 6, so it's 0.9406. .9406, and you got to multiply that by 100. So that's going to be 94.06%. So if this is at, oh, you can't see that. If you are 1.56 standard deviations above the mean, that's the equivalent of being at 94.06% of your data is below that. It's always going to be below that. All right, let's do, you know what, let's do the positive ones. 0.34. So I need to find 0.3. I think that works well with my ruler. So my 0 point, and then it was 4, so we pull a 4 from there. 0.6331. 0.6331 times 100, because the question asks for percentage. 63.31. Excellent. Now 2.03. So you know what? Grab your own table and try this yourself. So 2.03. So I'm going to go down my column here on the left, and there's my 2.0. And I want to go to 3. So 0.9788. 0.9788 times 100, 97.88%. Okay, cool. Now, the other questions are all negative standard deviations. So these ones make sense because they are above the mean because the z-scores are positive. So they all should be over 50%. So now when I go to do these ones, they're going to be below the mean. So they all should be negatives. So negative 219. Now this is where, oh, sorry about the lovely shadows. The sun just came out. Oh, 219. 2.1 is there. Now you have to watch because this side to me is kind of crazy because look, it goes 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. It counts down, whereas on the other side, the positive side, it counted up. So be careful. 2.1. Use my ruler there. And in the 9 column is 0.143. 0, whoops. And multiply that through by 100. Oopsies, let's go that way. So 2 decimal places, 1.43%. Because remember, just go back up here to my graph. if you are 2 standard deviations below the mean, so that's 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, and then a little bit more, right? You're only looking at this chunk of the graph. I've made a terrible mess of my graph now. That does make sense that it's 1.4%, right? Because this whole chunk basically to here, you remember, right, is 2.5%. So this little chunk here, yeah, my answers make sense. All right, 1.72. Sorry, 1.7. Now, there's the biggest mistake I make and students make all the time. I want 1.72 and you go in the second column. You gotta go all the way over here to that one. And we go down 0.0427. 0.0427 times 100. So that's going to be 2 decimal places, 4.27%. And my last one, negative 1.90. So if I find 1.9. Oh, did you also notice that this starts at a big number? Starts very negative and goes down. The other side starts at 0 and goes up. I didn't set up the table, but it makes the numbers flow better. Sorry, 1.9. And we need to get to the 0. So there's the 1.9 row. And we go over here to get the 0 column, 0.0287. 0.0287 times 100. 1 to 2 decimal places, 2.87%. All right. Ah, that didn't work. Let me just make that up here for you. Okay. I'm going to have to do something about my expression. All right, you can see it there. Or you can consult the answer key. So negative 2.9 is 1.43. Negative 1.72 is 4.27%. And negative 1.9, and we had to add the 0, 2.87%. All right, thank you. I'm going to fix my lighting before the next video. Have a great day.